In January 1486, Henry VII married Elizabeth of York, but this wasn't just something to celebrate. This event had to be carefully managed because to many, she wasn't just the wife of the new king. As the daughter of Edward IV, she was the rightful heir to the throne. Before Henry had even come to England to take the throne, he had promised to marry Elizabeth of York, but he didn't do it straight away. He wanted to make sure that he was king on his own merits, so he'd been crowned, he'd been sanctioned by Parliament before he married her, because what he didn't want was his legitimacy as king to be based on his marriage to the new Yorkist queen. First off, Henry got rid of the legislation which Richard III had imposed, saying that Elizabeth and her siblings were illegitimate, and on the 18th of January 1486 they married at Westminster Abbey, and this union is still symbolised today in the Tudor rose, where we see the joining of the red Lancastrian rose and the white Yorkist rose. The months that followed their wedding were more constrained rather than lavish, how we might think of a Tudor court as being lavish. And this isn't because Henry is a miser, as he's so often portrayed. This is because his throne and his new regime is so fragile. He didn't want anything to come off as being either complacent or provocative. We also don't have any record of any sort of prolonged public celebrations around this. This was an event that was much more symbolic and serious. After the wedding, the couple stayed in London, moving between different royal residences such as the Tower of London, Westminster and Greenwich Palace. Elizabeth didn't immediately have a court of her own, rather she sort of embedded herself in Henry's own household. Things stayed relatively calm, relatively quiet, and by the spring of 1486 she was pregnant. So we'll see how she's getting along with her pregnancy in a couple of days, because before that, tomorrow, Henry has a rebellion to deal with. See you tomorrow.